One is decreasing returns scale, and the last one is increasing returns scale. Now from here, what we have here is for constant returns scale, this is the implication. If you double the number of input, your output is doubled. You times 2 for your input, your output times 2 also. Right? That is called constant returns. The second one is decreasing returns. Decreasing returns is if you double the number of input in your production, your output is less than double. That is decreasing returns scale. The last one is increasing returns scale. If you double the number of your input, your output is more than double. Now, let me ask you 1, 2, 3. Which one is better?
3.
Certainly number 3 is better. Yeah? Because this one means you increase the percentage of your input in production, your output is more than double. Why not? That's good, right? And the third one is also called economies of scale. Just the third one, not 1 and 2. So whenever we say increasing returns to scale, this also means economies of scale. Scale here means the size. Here's scale here means the size of your input. If you increase the size of your input here, like maybe times 2, your output economies become more than double. Okay, more than 2. Yeah. So this is called economies of scale, also increasing return to scale. Yeah. Maybe you can just do some, just to provoke your thinking here. In these two tables, I put label as input. This one, 10 increased to 5, 5. 15 to increase to 20, 5 also. So it increased like 5. And quantity increase, this is 50, this is 50, this is 50, and 50. What do you call this?
Constant.
Constant returns to scale. Okay. And this one also, every one increased 5. Okay, and then output is 50, 50, 50, and 50. Are they the same thing?
Yeah. The initial output.
What is the difference between these two things?
The output.
The output difference. Okay, the output is different. So what do you call this case?
Increase.
Increasing?
To scale.
You look at whether the output is double or not double. Constant?
Increasing.
Increasing? I have a big answer here.
Increasing.
Constant return scale.
Constant
You look at this. It seems like I used the old table here. It seems like less clear this way. But what I see here is increasing return scale. What I see here is increasing return scale. I don't know whether you see it or not. I also don't know how to explain to you. Already. Never mind. You can try to digest this by yourself, or maybe I can replace this one with a clearer example later. Yeah. Right. Never mind. Just go back to our topics here. Now, I believe now you have a good idea what some economies of scale mean. Let me tell you one thing. In the past several lectures, we have been talking about comparative advantage, correct? Like inter-country trade. Country A trade with country B. Meaning the trade happening between two countries, and these two countries specialize in different goods and they trade with each other, right? We call that comparative advantage. But sometimes we also feel curious. Let's say Thailand and Malaysia, both countries produce rice, and they also trade with each other. Have you seen rice from Vietnam, for example, or rice from Thailand? Imported rice to Malaysia, and Malaysia also export rice. This happens, meaning that it doesn't mean we always must look at comparative advantage between two countries to trade. No, sometimes we also trade with each other the same products, like rice. We produce rice. Thailand produce rice, Vietnam produce rice, but these three countries also trade with each other for rice, not different goods. Yeah. In the past few lectures, we always talk about like Malaysia specialized in palm oil product or palm oil, and then Malaysia export to others, maybe European countries, and European countries export goods from Europe to Malaysia. So we trade different goods, palm oil and European goods. But at the same time, we also need to recognize the fact that we also trade the same products, like rice just now. Malaysia trade with Vietnam, rice, export and import. But why this happened? This happened because of economies of scale, meaning if we have economies of scale, meaning if we increase our input and our output is more than double, why not produce this good and export it, right? Because we have this advantage, we have this increasing returns to scale or economies of scale. We should produce that good, just like rice. Malaysia can bring in maybe foreign workers. Okay, the input increases or double, but the output is more than double. And the same thing happens to maybe palm oil. The trade between Thailand and Malaysia. Both countries produce palm oil, and they trade with each other palm oil. Why? Because Malaysia has economies of scale in palm oil, and Thailand also has some economies of scale. Okay. Let's say this one. If industry X has increasing returns, economies of scale, okay, mean the same things as I said just now. Increasing return scale, economies of scale mean the same thing in country A. So country A should specialize in good X. Now this specialization doesn't come from comparative advantage. This comes from economies of scale. Okay? So when it specializes in good eggs, consumer in country A want good eggs and good Y. This country can specialize in good eggs and supply this good for local use. And at the same time, consumers also requires the use of good wine. But good wine is not something produced in country A. So what happens is we need to trade with other countries. Here we have wine which is produced by country B because country B has a economies of scale in producing wine. Okay, so country B will specialize in wine and then trade with each other. Okay, can't give you a good example here. What Thailand produce most of the time? Any ideas? Your Deco. What Thailand produce? You don't know? What is the main products from Thailand? Okay, let's go closer. Let's go to Singapore. What is the main product from Singapore? Pardon? Any answer? Okay, now you are learning international economics. So at least you know what is the main products of the neighboring countries. Like Indonesia, you know palm oil. Okay. You should also know Philippines. The Philippines, for example. What else? Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, for example. This country. You should search online. Try to find out what are the main products from these countries. Okay. Maybe you can use an example of bananas from Philippines. Okay, both Malaysia and the Philippines produce bananas, right? By the way, I use bananas because when I was living in one of the Western countries, when I want to buy bananas, these bananas always come from the Philippines. That's why I use the Philippines for bananas. You can think about the Philippines has the economies of scale in producing, in farming bananas. Okay? And Malaysia has the economies of scale in producing palm oil. You can think about maybe food X is palm oil and Y is bananas. So these two countries can trade each other. Meaning that consumers here in Malaysia want just not palm oil products. They also want to eat bananas, right? Where to get bananas? From the Philippines. These two countries trade here not because of comparative advantage, but based on economies of scale. Okay? I will give you further qualifications about these things later, but at the moment, we categorize economies of scale by two categories. One is internal, one is external. Internal economies of scale usually based on, right here, based on the size of the firm, particularly the average cost. In productions, the first thing we talk about is trying to maximize output or minimize cost. So under internal economies of scale, the average cost is mostly dependent on the size of the firm itself, not the entire industry. This is the first characteristic. In contrast, if you look at here, external economies of scale, the average cost is dependent on the size of the industry. This is the difference between internal and external economies of scale. So from here, when the average cost is dependent on the size of the firm itself, this firm has a strongest tendency in terms of imperfect competition. Meaning that if I have a firm and I try to survive in the industry, and I realize that my average cost does not depend on the industrial itself, but depends mostly on how I manage my own firm. That is the average cost. So in this case, I will have more freedoms in terms of product differentiation, more freedoms in terms of setting my price. Because the average cost depends on how I manage my own firm, okay? Particularly the size. So I have more freedoms in terms of product differentiation. Maybe I want to perform some innovation to innovate new products, for example, or I want to set new prices different from other competitors. So in this situation, if I realize that my firm has this capability, has this characteristic, then I can say that my firm is more to imperfect competition. Remember, the characteristic of imperfect competition, product differentiation, meaning the firm will try to differentiate the products, make them look different from competitors in order to survive in the market. That is one freedom. Another freedom is imperfect competition. They also have some freedoms to set the price. Compared to perfect competition, the firms cannot set the price because too many firms in the market, not a single one has the market powers to set the price. Okay, and that happens in the other side, external economies of scale, meaning that if the firm mostly we have conditionally on the industrials as a whole, then that firm has less market powers because they don't have the abilities to set their own price. They must accept the price determined in the industries. Okay? That's why I said if the average cost is dependent on the industry, the firm has less freedom. They don't have the freedom to differentiate their products. Remember, it's under perfect competition. Products are homogeneous, like vegetable. Look at carrots. You will see any new species of carrots in the supermarket. They are all the same colors, right? With the same price in the market. The price per kilogram, for example. Yeah. So, economies of scale, it can be internal or external. Please remember, if the economies of scale is like average cost is dependent on the size of the firm itself, we can consider this firm is more to imperfect competition. Yeah? But if the average cost is dependent on the industry itself, like maybe it's a new policy or new rules set inside the industry that make the average cost increases, then if you have a firm inside external economies of scale, then your average cost will increase according to the rules set to the industry. Okay? Maybe like there could be some new rules when you want to employ employees, for example, you need to pay extra costs. So that will increase your average cost, and that is something set to the industry itself. If you are a firm belongs to that side, that means your average cost will also increases. Okay? So in this situation, you have less freedom in terms of setting price, in terms of differentiating your products. That is under the fact competition. Yeah? But our focus here is this one. Okay? The firm has internal economies of scale and it is more to perfect competition. Right? Now, imperfect competition, another name to it is monopolistic competition. But monopolistic competition is a broader name where inside monopolistic competition, we have imperfect competition, we have oligopoly. I hope you still remember these two types of market structures. We have perfect competition, monopoly, imperfect competition, oligopoly. Under monopolistic competition here, we have imperfect competition and oligopoly. Okay? But we will not touch about oligopoly in this topic. We will just look at imperfect competition. But I have to bring out the word oligopoly on this slide in order to distinguish between imperfect competitions and oligopoly. Yeah? So maybe you can just look at the two characteristics here. As I mentioned just now, one measure, the number one characteristic of imperfect competition is product differentiation, differentiated products. You can also think about this one as innovation. You understand innovation? What's innovation? Okay, between inventions and innovation, can you see the difference? Invention is, are they the same? Invention and not the same, right? Invention is you create something new, the first thing that ever exists in the world. Innovation is something like you try to maybe improve something, enhance something, to make it even better or look different in some or certain aspect. That is innovation. Okay? So innovation is something typical of imperfect competition, because this is the main characteristic of imperfect competition. So they pursue innovations in order to make your products different from other competitors. Okay? So from here, this is the objective to ensure from competition, meaning to escape neck and neck competition with competitors. Let's say you open a restaurant. What is a popular restaurant in Malaysia? I don't know. What is Kopidia? What's that? Or I don't know what kind of restaurants you mentioned here. Any suggestions? What? Harun. What is that? Oh, I see. Okay. Harun? Harun restaurant. Or I can just mention Mama restaurants. Okay. So you see a lot of these restaurants in Malaysia, right? I don't know whether they are perfect competitions or imperfect competition, but if they try to do some innovations to look to make the foods looks different, or maybe the restaurant's design look different, that is called differentiated products. Okay. Another characteristic of monopolistic is they behave like monopolies. Now this is special. Imperfectly competitive firms are not alone in the market, but they behave like a monopolist. A monopolist, as you see, meaning there's only one firm in the market, in the industry. Monopolistic competition, imperfectly competitive firms, they behave like they are monopolists. Only one exists in the market. So the implications here is, it takes the price set by competitors as given. There is no considerations of the price effect on the price set by the competitors. So these are the two characteristics of imperfect competition. In the following slide, I will try to explain to you one model in order to understand the size matter in international trade. Okay? So let's look at this. I'm going to use the whiteboard to explain to you something here. Okay. Let's look at this equation. Q equals to S 1 over N minus B P minus P bar. Let's look at this equation. I'm going to give you some indications here. Q is equals to firm sales one particular firm sells, S is equals to sales in the industry. Or you can just mention this one as industrial sales. Okay, and then I have N, which is equals to the number of firms. And then I have B. This is price sensitivity. Okay. You don't have to worry about those because this one will be available on the lecture notes later. I want you to pay attention to understand properly this model, right? And then I have P is equals to the firm's price, okay? And then lastly, I have this. This one is average price. In the industry. Okay. Right. Okay. This one is P bar. Now, this equation has the logic that the higher the price, the lowest the market share. This one, 1 over N, this is market share. Okay? So, if you look at this equation itself, I can just write like this. This S over N, this is market share. If the price, if the first price is, let's say, lower than the average price here, the market shares will be highest, biggest. If you look at the mathematics itself, this is negative, right? If this one is lower than this one, the market shares will be bigger or smaller? Bigger. That means if this firm is able to set a price that is lower than the average price in the industry, this firm will get a higher market share. And vice versa, if it set a higher price than the average price, the market share will be lower, correct? Yeah? Okay. Now, I want to explain to you two things. The two things that we want to identify in this question is N and the average price. To identify these two information, the number of firms and the average price, it doesn't mean we want to identify the value for this N and P bar. What we actually want to identify is the implication. It's the implications if we put some assumptions to N and P bar right here. For example, let's say we assume, okay, we assume P is equals to P bar. What does it mean by P equals to P bar? Meaning that the firm sets the price equals to the average price in the market. If we define like this one, we want to identify what is the implication. Yeah? So from here, we want to identify two impacts here. One is the relationship between average cost and the number of firms. The other one is the relationship between price and the number of firms. Because number of firms is N, right? With this assumption, P is equals to P bar, we want to understand two aspects here related to the number of firms. One is with the average cost, the other one with the price. Yeah. Let's look at the first one. In the first one, I said this is average cost, which is equals to F over Q plus C. Here, I put here C is equals to marginal cost. Okay, this is marginal cost. Now coming back here, from this assumption, P is equals to P bar. That means Q is equals to. Anyone tell me? With this assumption, P is equals to P bar. What is my Q? This one will be equals to, let me use a different colors maybe. Q will be equals to S over N. What is this again? Market share, right? Now from this average cost, because Q is equals to S over N, if we do some substitution, we can easily arrive this. Replace Q with S over N. What we get here? And F over S plus C. Now, just now I said with this definition, like P is equals to P bar, we want to see the relationship between AC, average cost, and the number of firms, right? That's the first thing we're going to look. So from this equation, we have average cost and we have N. This is number of firms. So based on this model, can you tell me the relationship between X and N? Do they have positive or negative relationship? Let's say if N increases, what happens to AC? It increases also, right? That means if the market increases, just now I defined to you, the size can be two times. One is the size of the firm. The other one is the number of firms in the market. So if you just look at fast food companies in Malaysia, maybe you have 10,000 in Malaysia. What about if you consider international trade? Do you still have 1,000 fast food companies in your mind? You have more than 10,000, right? Yeah, because you still need to consider the fast food companies in other countries. That is international market. So international market is bigger. So if you open the markets to international trade, that also means the number of firms increases, right? Because you don't consider only the firms in the country, but also other countries. This equation means the same thing. If N means local number of firms, this is the AC. But if you consider now you expand your economies to international trade, that means the number of firms increases. You can ask the question, what is the impact on AC? When international trade happens, AC also increases, meaning every firm in the country will experience an increase in AC when international trade happens, because the number of firms increases. Yeah? That is the first thing. The second thing we want to understand is the relationship between the price and the number of firms. From here we see the relationship between AC and number of firms. The next thing we're gonna say is the relationship between the price and the number of firms. Why that is important? Because AC represents the total cost of the firm. As a firm, we want to minimize costs. But from here, we understand the increase in N will increase the AC. But the second thing we want to understand is the total revenue. The total revenue comes from the price. If the product has no price, there's no chance to realize profit, to realize revenue. So if you want to understand, if we are in a market that is open to international trade, the number of firms is certainly more than what we have inside the country. From here, we want to see what does the international trade bring to the price. Will that reduce the price in my product or increase the price? It's something we want to know. Yep. Here, from here, I have to remove this one. Okay. Remove this one, and then now remember. Now what I'm showing you here is the relationship between the price and the number of firms. Yeah. Okay. And then when we write these things, we write this equation to be like this. Oops. Plus, this one is SE E bar minus SE. Okay, now from here, I'm gonna write this one to A minus B P. This is A, and this is B. Do you recognize this expression? Quantity as a function of P, of price. What function is this? What function is this? From microeconomics. That is the reason we want to learn micro and macro before we take international economics. Q alpha minus beta P. What equation is this? A is alpha, B is beta. You don't remember? This is demand function. Okay? This is demand function. Now, from this demand function, I want to show you that MR is equals to before that I forgot to inform you. Okay, never mind, just going backward. Don't worry, this Friday is a public holiday, so I'm gonna take a longer time for this lectures here. I just want to show you just now, I forgot like this. AC is equals to what again?
FQ plus F over Q plus C, okay, and AC F over S and okay plus C. I just want to show you, right, this one F over Q plus C. Why this one become AC? Average cost. Average cost, as you understand, is equals to total cost divided by the quantity, right? This is the formulas for average cost. But what we have here is we have plus marginal cost here. Why this happened? Because let me prove to you why this happened. the total cost is equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. Okay, and then from here, our fixed cost plus variable cost can be written as the marginal cost times the quantity. And then from here, the total cost. If we divide the total cost by the quantity, we get the average cost. From here, we have F divided by Q, and C times Q divided by Q. This is equals to F over Q plus C, which is equals to our average cost. Okay? So this is why I have F over Q plus C this way. Okay, just go back to our explanation just now. Just now I write this. Okay, S over N plus E S is E. Okay, then S E. Okay. From here, so I say this is the demand function. And our marginal revenue is equals to P minus F over Q. So this is Q over P. Like this one. And what is our Q again? Q is 1 S over N, correct? So can we substitute Q with S over N and B as BS right here? We have Q equals to S over N and B is equals to SB or BS, whatever. So from here, upon the substitution, what is the value we get here? Q. This one should be equals to
S
1 over
S.
and B. Is that right? 1 over and B. I just just cut the S. Yep. Am I right? You get the same answer? Okay. Now from this side, okay. Now from this side here, MR is equals to MC. Remember, MR is equals to MC is the equilibrium conditions under the imperfect competition. Okay? And we put here MC here is equals to C only, so I just reuse this notation C, not MC. Therefore, I just rewrite this term P minus 1 over NB equals to C. This is marginal cost. And if I want to solve this equation for P, that means I have P equals to C plus 1 over NB. Now from here, I have P here, I have N. Just now I said I want to see the relationship between price and the number of firms. Here we have this equation. Can you tell me, this equation, P and N, do they have a positive or negative relationship? Negative. Meaning the highest number of firms, the lowest the price. Okay? So from here, we identified two implications. If we have this definition, if the firm set the price equals to the average price in the industry, this is what we observe. First of all, AC and number of firms have a positive relationship, and second, price and number of firms have a negative relationship. Okay. What else should I I show you here. The MR. Just now I show you how to get the AC. Perhaps you don't understand why I have MR equals to P minus Q or P. Because this is some maybe you feel some confusion because let me show you here, okay? Just different things. What I'm trying to explain to you is MR doesn't allow me to write more. Okay. MR, what is the formulas that you learn from microeconomics? The change in total revenue divided by change in quantity, right? But just now I write to you is also equals to P minus what is it again? Q over B. So you might feel curious how I come to this the last term here. Is it similar to this one? Okay. So let's see this. We start from the demand function. Okay, we start from the demand function. Q equals to A minus B P. This is our demand function. Here. And then I want to get the inverse demand function. Meaning I will solve this equation for P and I will get A over B minus 1 over B Q. This is our inverse demand function. This is demand function. This is inverse demand function. Why do I need to get this P? Because I want to get the total revenue. The total revenue, what is the formulas for total revenue? Price times quantity. This is our formulas, okay? And we have P right here. We have P. But one thing we want to understand is marginal revenue is equals to total revenue minus the new total revenues minus total revenue divided by new quantity minus old quantity. This is something that we understand. So that means we need to derive new total revenue, which is the new total revenue is equals to new price times the new quantity. Okay. So that means we need to define what is our new quantity here. Q1. We can define Q1, our new quantity, as Q plus D Q. D, you understand D, right? The change in the quantity. So from here, I can plug in inside my new total revenues equation, which is this. Happens to okay, right here. What I got here is based on this equation. A B minus over B minus 1 over B here, do some parentheses here. Okay, and then here I have to times Q plus B Q, right? And then from here, so I have to times again Q plus B Q. Like this. This is my new total revenue.
From here, we just need to do some mathematics to expand it. But I guess you need to help me for this one. I'm not sure whether I have got it, but I will try. This is Q. Okay, and I need to apply the rules to solve these things. So it's supposed to be Q, then times this one's supposed to be dq. This correct me if I'm wrong, okay? This one is 1 over p q dq. And then the last term minus 1 over b dq squared. Okay, look at this. This term is similar to this term, right? Is it similar? Similar? If similar, just substitute inside it. What I get is P, this is PR1, this is P, Q, plus, this is also P, and I have here DQ, and the last term here I have minus, this one I can't substitute anything, so I just rewrite it back, and for DQ, because it's too small, I assume this is equals to 0, and this equals to 0. So what I have here next is perhaps T, this one, TR1, PQ is equals to what? What is PQ? P times Q, what is this? Total revenue, okay? Total revenue, plus I have here P, okay, this one I got to factor out. I have DQ here, DQ here. So I should get P minus Q over V, and this is DQ. DR1 minus DR equals to P minus Q over V DQ. Okay, from here, TR1 minus TR, this is change in total revenues, correct? So I just write here TDR DTR minus divided by DQ, which is equals to P minus Q over V. This is equals to marginal revenue, right? So this is how I obtain P minus Q over V is equals to marginal revenue. Yeah. This one is not available in the lecture notes. If you want to take pictures or what, I don't know. Can I remove it already? Okay. We have to. Sorry for the delay. I just tried to explain the models to you just now. Actually,
This is available on the slide, but not as detailed as I explained to you just now. From here, we understand the relationship between AC and the number of firms, correct? And also the price and the number of firms. This diagram shows you the two curves. The CC curve will show you the relationship between AC and the number of firms. This measures AC. This measures number of firms. So the upward sloping curve here means the highest number of firms, the highest the average cost. Okay? And on the other side, EC is the price. The price. Just now we say, is there negative or positive relationship with the number of firms? Negative, right? So when the number of firms increases, the price increases, like this. Okay, downward sloping. We also want to ask a question here, like this. International trade allows integrated markets in the world, making largest market size than the notions of markets, than the national market size. From here, we are trying to understand what will happen when the average cost curve shifts to the right side. For example, here I said when the market size grows because of international trade, while the number of firms is unchanged, the sales per firm increases. Consequently, the average cost increases, shifting the average cost curve to the right here. Okay. This is the reasons why the average cost curve shifts to the right side. You can have more understanding based on my explanations in this note. I'm trying to save the time. I understand that I have taken more than, taking a lot of time to explain this thing, so trying to save the time to not waste time to explain this model. You can read my notes here to understand further about the sheet here. In this example, we are trying to calculate certain concept. The sales per firm, the average cost, and the price per unit in an integrated market. For example, if you want to calculate the sales per firm, you apply these formulas. Okay, this one. S over N. What is this again? The market share. Okay, you just based on the value given here, use these formulas, you get the market share. And for average cost, this is what I demonstrate to you just now. Apply the same the values given, you get the average cost curve, the average cost. And for the price, this is also the formulas I showed you, I explained to you just now. You just apply the value, get the price. In the end, you will get the values like in this table, right? But I don't want to take a lot of your time to complete this table here. What I recommend you to do is, please take your time at home, try to calculate the value for these two colors. Okay? The values are given right there in this here. Just use this value to complete the table here, right? Okay. For some of the things, I won't explain further. For example, these things you can read at home. Okay. Maybe I will just cut these things and then you read at home. I will jump to one important model that I still need to explain to you. This diagram, I believe you don't have problems to understand also. We have talked about inter-industry trade. This is the trade that is based on comparative advantage, like what we learned in the past several lectures. Like you still remember, if the relative price of X to Y is higher than the opportunity cost of X to Y. That is the specializations we explore in the past few lectures. That is for inter-industry trade, meaning inter-industry trade means when two different industries trade with each other. Okay, that is called inter-industry trade.
And what we learned in this topic is intra-industry trade, meaning the same industry trade with each other. Like maybe Malaysians produce palm oil, Indonesia also produce palm oil, but we still trade with each other. The same industry trade, okay? Intra-industry trade. But intra-industry trade is based on economies of scale. Inter-industry trade is based on comparative advantage. Okay? Right. I will jump to this model. This is what I mean. Dumping. Not dumping, but dumping. Well, okay. Dumping. Just now I asked you to remember one question, but I don't quite remember, so I say I mentioned something about protectionism early in the lectures. Okay? Here's I want to show you why imperfect competitions also involve protectionism. Protectionism not in the way of subsidy and tariff, but in the ways of dumping. Dumping here means a price discrimination. Under monopoly, if you still remember your lessons in microeconomics, price discrimination means when a firm tries to charge consumers with different prices. For example, like in this class, okay, let me give you maybe just a joke, okay? Maybe for the guys, I charge you cheaper. For the girls, I charge you more expensive price. Do you see the discrimination here? Yeah, that is price discrimination. But in reality, the firms will try to distinguish the market not by gender. Gender is just a joke from me. Yeah, they will try to distinguish the market by some demand behaviors. For example, they realize in these countries or this area, consumers is poorer. In that area, consumer is richer. So they will charge different prices, right? Richer consumers will charge a higher price. Poorer consumers will charge a lower price, for example. Okay, that's one example. Another is the availability of substitute goods. If the supplier understands that this group of consumers they are located in some area that they can't easily find substitute, then I can easily increase my price. I don't care. I don't worry that they will reduce my demand because they can't find substitute. I just increase the price. Okay, that is one example. In terms of international market, the price discriminations here can mean when I am a firm in this country, I charge domestic users with a different price. I charge international users with a different price. That is international price discrimination. Yep. Let's see how this works. Dumping, price discrimination in international trade. Firms can sell the same product at different prices between foreigners and locals. This tactic is generally known as price discrimination, meaning different consumer different prices. The two conditions apply. These firms, to be able to practice price discrimination, there are two conditions. The first should be imperfect competition, and the firm must be able to segment the market. Segment the market means to distinguish the market with certain characteristics. Okay, right. Now, based on this diagram here, when you first look at this diagram, you feel like, how do I start? Where do I start? Well, the first point you start is you can look at the most basic label here. See this DC. What is DC? Demand curve. Okay. But DC is not just one. There are two DC here. This is one DC. This is another DC. Meaning there are two demand curves. Two demand curves mean Under this model, there are two segmented markets. Each market has their own demand curve. Okay? For example, DCH, this is the demand curve in the domestic market. DCF, the demand curve in international market. Right. Do you still remember the equilibrium condition? NR is equals to MC, right? NR is equals to MC. Do we have NR, MC here? Yes, we have. Firstly, we have this NRH, the marginal revenue at home market. And then we have marginal revenue at foreign international market, right? And then we have MC right here. We share the same MC for local market or international market, right? From here, I believe that you can spot EF here. EF is the crossing between MC and NR. This point means NR is equal to MC, right? Now from here, we see that the price is PM. This is the price level in the global market, meaning that if the firm sells in the global market, this is the price, which is determined by MC equals to MR. And the quantity sell is this one, Q monopoly. The Q monopoly, the word monopoly here doesn't mean this firm is a monopoly, but just now I defined the characteristic of monopolistic firm. One of the characteristics is that this firm will behave like the monopoly. So I write here, this is the quantity of monopoly. Yeah. So from here, we know this is the price if this firm sells in the international market. Now we want to ask one question. What about the local market? What is the price level? Okay, you see that in order to find the local price, we need to find MC equals to MR at local market. We have MR home here, and we have MC right here. And this point is the equilibrium. From this point, in order to find the price, we need to look at the AR curve, the average revenue curve. The DC is also the AR curve, similar. Okay, DC is also the AR curve. Now from here, EH equilibrium point, we have this point G touching this AR curve. From here, we found that the price is E0. You see the difference here? This price is higher than this one, right? But unfortunately, this is not the local price. This is not the local price because if the firm is able to set a higher price compared to international price, I mean, if the firm is able to set a higher price for the local market compared to international price, the firm will take the advantage to set an even higher price than this one. Meaning that if this is the international price level, which is equal to MC, this is MC, right? Okay, if this is the price level in the international market, which is also equal to MC, which means that this firm can take this price as MC, and when this MC is equal to MR right here, this is the equilibrium point. Meaning that from this point, the firm will find a price which is equal to H, right here, which is PH. So PH here will beat the price for the local market. The firm will charge a higher price. You see PH is higher than PH. This is a price when the firm sells in the international market, and this is the price when the firm sells at home market. Okay? Now you see the difference between this price and this price. What do you call this? You sell for domestic user at this price. You sell for international user at this price. What do you call this?
Price discrimination.
This is a price discrimination, and the concept is called dumping. It's like you dump the domestic user with a higher price, right? Okay.
So this is dumping, price discrimination. I think that's it. What I want to explain to you about prices, this final model here. Before we dismiss, before we close, just do a quick revision. The practice when a firm discriminates foreign and domestic consumers with different prices is known as dumping. Okay. Number two, when the same type of product is traded between countries, this type of trade is known as same type intra-industry trade. Okay. Number three, an increase in the market size during international trade will increase or decrease the average cost of firms. Increase. Yep. Okay. Number four, inter-industry trade is determined by what factors? Comparative advantage. Yep. Comparative advantage. And last one, intra-industry trade is determined by economies of scale. Yep. Very good. Right, just to remind you, don't forget next week, 23rd, we have midterm. What day is that? Wednesday. From what time until what time? 2 to 4. Okay. Right, then I will see you again next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.